No, I think it is important to swim in the enjoyment and the excitement of a result like that. We did have a bit of an awkward situation. Obviously we had that time together on Saturday night and flew back on Sunday, and the people that weren't in the travel party that were back at the Sunshine Coast sort of met us as our bus pulled up, and the excitement for them to be able to see us sort of brought that up for them, but we had sort of already moved on and thinking about the next week. So that probably brought into light how quickly the group that were involved moved on, and sort of even with our travel back, we're already thinking about taking the lessons out of that game into Saturday night. We've been able to do that, and obviously looking forward to the next 48 hours.
Sorry, Lauren, go. Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to say, Nathan, it's always a wrestle on whether to tinker with a winning lineup. But is it even more so when it comes to tinkering with a lineup that's won like that?
Look, there's marginal decisions. Obviously, there's difference in the opposition, and you've got to take that into account. But largely, it's around you playing your best football and bringing your best to the table. I think half of the battle when you come into any level of competition is actually giving the best of account of yourselves and as individuals and as a team. And generally that's going to give you the best chance to win a game of footy or to best your competition of the day. So, we will have a look at that, but we pulled up really healthy out of the game, and that should stand us in really good stead going forward. We've got plenty of guys that are putting their hands up, and our training session tonight will further that those claims, I'm sure, and we'll make the right decisions in the next 24 hours to who we take in.
Can we expect to see another very tall Magpies lineup this week?
Well, Jordan, I think that some of our plans were effective last week, and whether they're effective going forward is it will be a matter of opinion for the match committee. If you play, the fact that Jordan Roughead and Darcy Moore are over 200 centimetres helps that stat, and you don't often get sort of defenders that are that size, but those guys have been exceptional in the way that they've gone about it. We play a couple of tall key forwards and a couple of rucks, or we did last week, and that's not abnormal. It's just they've probably got 4 or 5 centimetres on a couple of other blokes.
But I know the decision to bring Darcy in was there was a specific plan for West Coast and how they lined up. Was there much discussion over the year to bring him in at times to help Brodie, particularly through that condensed period where Brodie was doing a lot on his own and backing up off short breaks?
Yeah, there was, and Darcy did play a handful of games through that middle part of the year, so we did select him in a similar format. Look, we can you look back at what ifs and could haves, and Brodie was really keen to play through that period. He continually, obviously in conversations with him, he wanted to keep rolling on, and potentially we could have given him a week off, but we think that we were in must-win situations through that period for some of that time as well. So I think that for the most part we've made the right decisions as we've gone along. Clearly, in retrospect, there's things that we could have done better, and I think acknowledging those and owning those is important for us to make better decisions going forward. But right now, we're in pretty good space.
Does Darcy retain his spot?
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he played pretty well.
Mark's Tom Phillips. Obviously, we touched on a few questions ago about making changes, but Tom's probably the one that jumps out. How's he looking?
Yeah, well, Flip has been full training for about a week and a half, and he hasn't actually had any match sort of simulation yet. He'll get a taste of that this evening. But yeah, he's played a lot of footy for us over the last 2 or 3 years. He's been a regular in our best 22. So that's a decision that we're going to have to weigh up into this week and beyond. But he's moving really well physically, and he'll get a taste of some match simulation this evening to stake his claim.
I'll jump in because there's a bit of silence there to break the awkwardness. But last week I think you scored about 40 points, I think 39 exactly from stoppage. And I think it was about half that on average throughout the year. Can you explain what went right for you in that regard? And was it a tweak? Was it just a matchup-based thing? What happened there?
Yeah, we believe we're a damaging stoppage team, and we've won our fair share of clearances over the year. What has happened less consistently is winning contests forward of the ball and turning them into scores. We're accurate. So when you're accurate, it's 6 points as opposed to 1 or none, which makes a significant difference into the aggregate score in the end. But I like to just think that we were able to connect better with our forwards and took our opportunities. From a stoppage scenario, we like to play. We like to play 6 forwards in front of the ball. We have for most of the season. We tinkered with at times sort of having one up sort of outside of the stoppage, but we've generally made it difficult for the defence to drop off, and we like doing that. So those tactics haven't changed too much, but it was just a night where we were able to bring it together, and most blokes were able to play their roles in the plan.
Nathan, do you take anything out of your good recent record against Geelong and that pretty good win in Perth in July?
I'm always interested about that. I really do think that home and away form, and I said this last week, home and away form in 2020 is really hard to gauge, so we didn't pay a lot of attention to our round 8 loss against West Coast, even though it was quite significant and on the same oval. So I'm not going to sit here and say that we're going to pay a lot of attention to the Geelong game in round 7 that we're able to win. These finals games exist in their own vacuum, I believe, and we know that Geelong are the best contested ball side consistently throughout the home and away. They're as strong in the contest as any team that we're going to face. That's where the major challenge will lie for us. And if you're not prepared to get your hands dirty and get your nose in the trough, you're not going to be able to compete. So that's what we do take out of our recent performances and games against Geelong.
My Wi-Fi has fallen victim to giving you lockdown notice, so apologies if you've
Inform continues. Do you sit him down with him week to week, depending on the opponent?
You might have to go with the first part of that question again, Jordan.
Sorry, I was going to say, how do you ensure Mason Cox's good form continues? Do you have to sort of sit down and week to week, depending on the opponent, and take a different strategy each week? Is that how it works with Mason?
No, generally Sando's done a great job, with all his forwards consistently, and sometimes you feel like you're grinding as an individual and as a division. Other times, things come together, and definitely for Mason, his form in the last month has been much improved, and he spoke about the reasons for that last week, I believe. So, and some of them are justifications, or some of them are clearly impactful, and others are just simply good form or poor form. So Mason's in great shape at the moment. He's he's attacking the ball at highest point. He's aggressive in his aerial contests, and the other little things he does to bring his teammates in have continued to be important. When blokes are going well, you generally just give them space to go and express themselves and let them play, and that's exactly what we'll do with Mason.
Bucks, have you noticed that the team has a bit of a different mindset this year, coming from knowing you have to win every game? Backs against the wall in the first week against West Coast, as opposed to previous years where you have been, in that top four and considered a real premiership threat. Is it any different?
No, I don't sense any difference. I mean, every year, every week has its own feel. Has its own, has a life of its own. I think that the circumstances of the year have us quite connected, quite motivated, or obviously very motivated. We've built a resilience. But I've said that over the last 3 or 4 years with circumstances, whether it's players lost due to injury or having to change the makeup of the side, having to pick ourselves back up off the canvas at different times. And I think you'll find that over a long enough timeline that they're the challenges that take place. But no, our motivation is to continue to find the best of what we can bring to the table, and that's the first step in any challenge. And I think we haven't hidden away from the fact that we intend to win 3 more games of football. That's our ultimate motivation, and we don't look any further than Saturday night. We've got a job to do, and we believe we've got the capacity to do it. And it's going to be a big part of us around being positive and proactive in our attitude to get that job done.
Just talking more broadly about the club's record in finals, is there anything to that in terms of backs to the wall wins, even back as far as 2002, the qualifying final against Port Adelaide, and the extra time in 2007? Collingwood as a club seemed to win these kinds of games quite regularly in finals, and it happened to go on the weekend. Is there anything to that, or is it just a coincidence?
I think the narrative that surrounds those performances is really easy to roll on with the next one. I think we probably, when a result doesn't suit the narrative, it gets forgotten pretty quickly. So I think it's more an external thing than anything else. So we were just really narrow-minded and focused on the challenge, what was going to happen between the first and last siren, and coming together as a unit to bring our best to the table. So I think that we've been more consistent no matter what the circumstances around a game are over the last 3 years, and that's probably one of the reasons why we've been able to perform more consistently and potentially win more.
Nathan, the clash of mentalities in a semi-final is always intriguing. Geelong coming off a loss and wanting to bounce back, and you guys kind of riding that wave and momentum from the win the first week. How do you see that manifesting, and how can you take advantage of that?
Well, I suppose once again it's all external to what's actually going to take place. We know that. I mean, if it does count for anything, well, potentially Geelong are the ones that are being challenged or questioned this week as potentially we were. So, all we know is that we believe that Geelong have got tremendous pride in themselves, in the club, in the people that represent them. They've played a lot of good footy over a long period of time, so we're not underestimating what we're going to get. We know exactly what the game is going to look like and what to expect from our opposition. And once we've acknowledged that, well, then the focus comes back down to where it should be, which is on what we're planning to do and how we're planning to go about it. But I think all of the semi-final record has probably squared up a little bit. It used to be that the losing side from the qualifying games won sort of 80% of these games in the last sort of 3 or 4 years since the bye. Nearly every year, you've had sides that have gone out of elimination, won a semi-final, and come into a prelim. So, at least, we did that in. We plan to do it this year. We lost our qualifying and won a semi in 2018. So it can happen all over the place, and we try and tell stories in retrospect. But in the end, the story's yet to be told for Saturday night.
Bucks, Tom Hawkins didn't kick a goal against you last time, and then also last week didn't kick a goal here. Expect him to be coming out breathing fire this week?
Yeah, he's the Coleman medalist. He's had an amazing year. We like Ruffy. He's a good matchup for Tom, and played a pretty good game on him last time in Perth. They're both big boys. They'll be around each other most of the night. But we're not going to fall for being just Tom Hawkins conscious. Geelong were the heaviest scoring side in the home and away, and they did so because they had multiple score sources. So, we'll look to make sure that we've got plans for all of that. But you won't. I don't think I'm giving that much away to say that you'll see Ruffy next to Tom Hawkins for a lot of the night.